You hear this word superfood thrown around all the time, right? But what does it even mean? Today, we're going to cut through all that hype. We're putting one of the biggest names out there on trial, flaxseed. Is this stuff the real deal, or is it just great marketing? Let's dig in and find out.
So let's just get right to it. Can this tiny little seed really be the answer to some huge, serious health problems we're facing? It sounds almost too good to be true, doesn't it?
All right, here's how we're going to break this down. First, we're going to talk about a silent epidemic that's affecting millions of people. Then we'll introduce our star of the show, this ancient seed, and see what the actual science says. And finally, we'll get into the practical stuff, how you can actually use it, and maybe even more important, what you need to be careful about.
Okay, so first things first, let's talk about this silent epidemic. What we're really talking about are these hidden diseases that are creeping up on us, threatening our health, often without us having a clue.
And one of the biggest culprits here is something called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or NAFLD for short. Basically, it's when fat builds up in your liver until it makes up more than 5% of its weight. And here's the really scary part. In the beginning stages, you usually feel nothing. Zero symptoms. It's totally silent, which is exactly what makes it so common and so dangerous.
So you're probably wondering, what causes this? Well, the risk factors are things you see all around you, every single day. We're talking about things like obesity, not moving around enough, type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, a bad diet. You get the picture. It's no wonder NAFLD has exploded into a huge health problem for millions of people all over the globe. Okay, so now that we've set the stage with the problem, let's bring in our potential solution, flaxseed. And look, this is not some brand new trendy thing. This is an ancient seed that has a nutritional profile that is honestly pretty mind-blowing. Let's really get into it. So when you go to the store, you'll probably see two kinds, brown and golden. But here's a pro tip, don't waste your time agonizing over which one to get. Nutritionally, they're pretty much the exact same.
Okay, now look at these numbers. This is where it gets really wild. For every 100 grams, which is about 3.5 ounces, you're getting a whopping 27.3 grams of fiber. That is a ton. Plus, it's loaded with protein, important minerals like magnesium. And then here's the superstar of the show, an unbelievable 22.8 grams of omega-3 fatty acids. Just incredible.
So, having great stats on paper is one thing, but does it actually do anything? What does the science say? It's time to put flaxseed under the microscope and look at the hard evidence. Let's start with blood pressure. There was this German study that looked at patients with something called peripheral artery disease. The researchers had them take 30 grams of ground flaxseed every single day for 6 months straight.
And check this out, the results were pretty amazing. On average, their systolic blood pressure, that's the top number when you get your blood pressure checked, dropped by 10 points. 10! The thinking is that this huge effect comes from all those omega-3s, which are fantastic at fighting inflammation and just helping your blood vessels work better.
And it wasn't just the top number. Their diastolic pressure, that's the bottom number, went down by an average of 7 points too. So you're looking at a huge all-around win for heart health. But, this benefit for our metabolism doesn't just stop with our heart and blood vessels.
And that brings us right back to the liver. This part is super interesting. A clinical trial in Iran put flaxseed oil head-to-head with vitamin E, which is something doctors often suggest for fatty liver. Now, both of them helped lower some important liver enzymes, which is good. But the flaxseed oil group, they also saw their triglycerides and insulin go down and their good HDL cholesterol go up. The vitamin E group didn't get those extra perks.
So really, the study's own conclusion says it all. Flaxseed oil is effective in the improvement of non-invasive liver markers of patients with NAFLD. I mean, that's pretty direct. It gives real solid scientific weight to the idea that this stuff works.
All right, so the science looks really, really good. But the big question is, how do you actually bring this into your own life? Let's get practical and talk about how you can start adding flaxseed to your diet.
It really comes down to 3 simple things. Number 1, and this is the most important rule, you have to grind it. It's not optional. Your body just can't break down that tough outer shell on the whole seeds. So if you don't grind them, all that good stuff just passes right through. Useless. Number 2, once it's ground up, just add it to whatever you want. Smoothies, yogurt, your morning oatmeal, anything. It's super easy. And number 3, you can also use the oil. Just remember, don't cook with it. Use it cold, like on a salad. Heat will just ruin all those precious omega-3s.
Okay, now hold on. Before you run out and buy a giant bag of this stuff, we need to have a serious talk about the warnings. This part is every bit as important as knowing all the good things it can do.
Seriously, let's hit pause for a second. Before you start sprinkling this on everything, it is so important to know the potential downsides. Because like any powerful food, it's not the right move for everybody or in every single situation.
First off, all that fiber is great, but you have to drink a lot of water with it. If you don't, you could actually run into some serious digestive issues. Also, it's generally a no-go during pregnancy and breastfeeding because of how it might affect hormones. And this is a big one. It can interfere with medications, especially blood thinners and drugs for diabetes or high blood pressure. So if you take any of those, you absolutely must talk to your doctor first. Oh, and never, ever eat the seeds raw or when they're not ripe. They can actually be toxic. And lastly, because they contain compounds that can act like estrogen, anyone with a hormone-sensitive condition needs to be really careful.
So there you have it. We've looked at the science, we've covered the how-tos, and we've gone over the really important warnings. We started with this huge silent health problem and looked at a tiny seed that might be part of the solution. So that really just leaves one big question for you to think about. Now that you've heard all the evidence, the good and the bad, does flaxseed have a place in your diet?